Okay, so now that I've made that last video, I'm gonna walk you through the absolute first graces you should get and the bare basics that you need in order to start your playthrough, because it doesn't really tell you what to do. This is the church you walked out of. Here's your first grace, and that guy is gonna call you maidenless here and whatnot. Make sure you activate this and any of them that you see. If we come down here, this is a martyr stake, I think that's what they're called. I have no idea, but these are what your summoning pools are going to be. So right now I could use my finger and place down a gold summoning sign, and most players would be able to see them in here. But that's what these are. These are, if you see any of these, you know it's a multiplayer area. And I'll show you a little bit more later on. If you come on down here, right here in this straight up this way towards that church that you see off in the distance, there will be a tree sentinel. He is a massive dude riding a massive horse in golden armor. I recommend not to mess with him because I wasn't able to beat him until I was like level 50, and even then I struggled. So in order to avoid him, you can just hold circle to sprint, because that's not explicitly stated either, but you can run around this way and he'll notice you if you get too close. So I recommend running over here and running around the outskirts of these rooms, because if you go too far up there, there's some bats, which, I mean, you can fight them, but it's not fun. But you'll run up there, and you can run around here, and you can enter this church without ever seeing that tree sentinel. Inside this church will be your next site of grace. This is the Church of Ella. It's an important location. You'll activate this grace, and you can come over and talk to this merchant, and he can sell you some items, and you can activate this smithy, and just craft some stuff here. Now, I will say that most merchants aren't 200% difficult to kill. This one will be very difficult on your first go around, but after you've got a few level ups, he should be no problem to kill. And when you get to the Knights of the Round Table, you can give them your bell, and then all your vendors will be in one location. I don't know if this one has a specific quest, but if you kill that vendor, you lose access to their quest, but you can take and put all the items they sell in one place. So you won't have to worry about having to run around to different fast travel locations to try to find different vendors. You can access it all in one location by just murking them. I don't do that because I'm gonna try to be a good character, but you do you. If you hit this merchant and you find out you cannot kill this thing, you will have to come back to this church at this point. So what I recommend is get right here. I would crouch, and then he's probably going to stand up right about here because you don't have a very high sneaks. You're not very good at sneaking yet. Just uncrouch, run, and activate this grace immediately before he even has a chance to stand up and enter combat. This will be your starting area here. Come out here in these forests. What I usually do when I first start is I'll come out here. I'll murk these guys in the forest a couple times, and I can get a couple runes, and I can buy a couple of the basic items from that merchant. But buy a couple basic items from that merchant, and then I'll come back in here, rest at this grace, and get back up, and all the enemies in the forest respawn once you've killed them all. But the important items that he has will be the... let me get over here.
Always.
Will be the crafting pouch. All these cookbooks are very good, and a cracked pot, and you can make just about everything else. But I recommend getting this, the Flask of Wondrous Physics. Note, I'll bring you to that location without this in a different guide, but it can help, and you can do it on your own. But that's pretty much all you need here. Honestly, I wouldn't buy this chainmail armor. It's really not worth it because you're going to get armor that's just about as good and looks a lot better than this one. And it's not worth 4,000 gold. So, in order to activate the story mode of this, you first have to activate so many sites of grace and go to so many sites of grace. So if you activated the one inside the cave, the one outside the church, and the one at this church down here, you now have 3 sites of grace. So and I have it, I'll you can go to the right and activate the one outside that field down there, which is possible, but in order to activate leveling up, and I just kind of realized this now, but you'll come up this way, and you'll run through these woods here where the guards are. You can kind of dip in between them if you're not looking to fight. And then this one, you'll probably have to kill. But if you... And always gather materials. You don't have like a carry weight in your inventory, so it's always good to pick these up to help with crafting. But the way I do this is I just come up here, and you don't want to go in those ruins yet. I'd recommend leveling up and putting a couple levels before going down in there, because it's a little difficult, but I'll show a guide on that place in a little bit. But come over here, and then you can activate, I'd crouch walk, which by pressing down on your left stick. You can come right here, rest at this side of grace, and upon your first time discovering and resting at this side of grace, you'll discover Malena, and she'll give you some dialogue, and you should accept her as your maiden, and that'll help you level up. Once you've gotten this fourth side of grace unlocked, you will now have the ability to level up. So what you should do next. So once you've leveled up a few times, you can go after the Gatefront ruins, or you can do what I prefer to do is once that happens, go back to the Church of Elleh, fast travel there, or if you got that merchant mad at you, fast travel to the first step and walk over there around the Tree Knight again. But you'll come here, and if you're at night and you teleport to this grace, and it's nighttime right now, if you open your menu up, it'll show you in the corner at some point, I don't know. But when it's dark outside, if you come out here and rest at this grace, even if you have to run into the beginning like I said a minute ago, you'll have a cutscene with the witch, and she'll give you the horse summoning bell, which I have found in my pocket, and it lets you summon Torrend, and you can run around, which is good. Horse controls, if you're not sprinting already, press O and you'll dodge forwards and start sprinting, and you can double jump with X. Mounted combat, you can just attack like normal, and if you press the button on the opposite side, it attacks on the opposite side. And then you have power attacks too, which I don't usually use, but there's that. Oh, also, if you're trying to dismount, you can press down on your left stick too. But that's, how to get your horse, how to get everything else for the beginning. That's pretty much for this little video. The next video, now you know to level up and stuff, so what I recommend doing is farm these forests up, get a couple levels, put some into vitality, depending on what type of weapon you're using. If you're using a strength dexterity weapon like me, put a couple levels into strength and dexterity, because that makes your weapons more powerful. But that's it for this video. Next video, I'll most likely be covering Gatefront ruins, how to get through there and acquire the map for this area, because you still can't see on your map yet. You don't have it detailed on your map, so I'll explain how that goes. There you go.